to item 11A. We would be new business items for discussion. Action can be taken if you choose to. And the first one is item A, consideration of a preliminary subdivision plat for Brick Capital Community Development Center on Washington Avenue. And Thomas Marish is here to tell us more about that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, City Council and staff as well. This information will be found on page 37 of your packet. Brick Capital Community Development Corporation is seeking approval of a preliminary plat for the Washington Avenue Affordable Housing Subdivision. The subject project is currently zoned R6 residential mixed, and the proposed preliminary plat complies with the density and dimensional standards of that zoning district. The project contains 45 single-family lots, which are currently intended to be the second phase of the overall affordable housing project for the site. The first phase, a multi-family development consisting of 16 dwelling units within one proposed building, was recently rezoned from R6 to MF12 on September 7th of 2021. It was recently approved by the Technical Review Committee to move forward with the zoning review and construction. The single-family development is proposed with 2 preserved open spaces, and which totals nearly 4 acres or 25% of the total site. The subdivision also includes curb and gutter and a 4-foot sidewalk along one side of the proposed internal streets, as well as extending along the site's frontage of Washington Avenue. I will take this moment to just point your direction. That Washington Avenue proposed sidewalk is not required. Brick Capital is currently in discussion with Lee County for matching funds to provide for that sidewalk. So that may or may not actually be developed. It's not required, but it is proposed. That's their intention, as long as they can secure funding. All lots proposed with this development are to be served by public water, public sewer, and publicly maintained streets. The planning board did meet on May 24th and recommended that City Council approve the preliminary plat for Washington Avenue and submitted by a unanimous vote. The specific topics of discussion were the phasing of the project and with the previously approved multifamily portion of the project to begin first, but ultimately having both projects develop simultaneously. I think there was some concern about if both streets were going to be installed or constructed so that they would have sufficient access, and they will. The proposed subdivision design does comply with the standards of the R6 zoning district. Per GIS, the subject property is not located within a historic district or the watershed or a flood zone. There is some flood zone, but it is incorporated into open space. Public water is located along Washington Avenue, and public sewer is also proposed to extend from an adjoining property to the west to serve the development. And the site is accessed via Washington Avenue, which is a state-maintained road consisting of 60-foot right-of-way. There are 2 points of access proposed that connect to Washington Avenue, and the site, the development does include 2 new paved public streets. And lastly, the TRC, the Technical Review Committee, reviewed the design and was amenable to the preliminary plat moving forward with review and approval by the Planning Board and City Council. All TRC technical revisions must be addressed prior to the final plat being recorded. NCDEQ approval will be required if the developer disturbs more than an acre. DOT approval will be required if for all driveway connections to state-maintained roads. The preliminary plat shall be valid for 2 years if approved by Sanford City Council, and all public utilities must be installed and accepted for maintenance or a financial guarantee posted to ensure that the installation of the required improvements prior to the recording of the final plat, and all financial guarantees must comply with UDO standards and be accepted by the Sanford City Council. And I'll pause there to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Tom. So are there questions regarding this preliminary plat, the subdivision plat? What we're going to do tonight is approve this plat or not approve it, but that's the action. Any discussion or questions?
No discussions, Mayor. I just want to say I'm really excited for Brick Capital and Mr. Brushaw and the board for what they're actually doing here in this area of our city. I think that it's going to really create a really bright spot for the citizens there, as well. We all know that the county is actually working and have been improving some amenities there across the street from this particular site with the Hart Park. I understand that now they're going to be pretty soon start on the splash pad as well. So I think that this area is really coming together and really forming up nicely. Again, I just want to appreciate Brick Capital and Mr. Shaw and the great work that they're doing in the city.
Thank you, Byron. I think this is an absolute fantastic project. The council has been working hard hard with the Brick Capital Community Development Center on this. This is a perfect example of people working together in local government with a nonprofit. And I see a lot of their board members out here tonight. You need to be commended. This is a super project. We're really making some strides here and doing what we can do as a local government to provide some infrastructure help. They're using their financial streams and their grants and their resources, and we're developing a community and enhancing the value and the quality of life there. Is there any questions that we haven't talked about? This has been a great ongoing project. Hal, thank you and the staff for getting behind this project. Couldn't come at a better time or a better place to do it. Any other questions or discussions for Thomas or anyone here? All right, with that said, then I would seek a motion to approve the preliminary subdivision plat for Brick Capital CDC.
Motion so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Buckles. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon. Any discussion further? Okay, all in favor of approving the preliminary subdivision plat for Brick Capital CDC, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Let's move on then to item 11B, which is the consideration of a preliminary subdivision plat for Midtown Village South.